Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. I had to come here and share this story, and let me give you a trigger warning because when you hear something like this, it's really sad everything that went down, and I'm gonna give you that's why I wanted to give you a trigger warning. But when I hear stories like this, it's like you have to go back and read about it, because it's like really this is society right now. This is actually happening, and this is in regards to that situation that happened over in Texas, where they fired a couple teachers and staff because they were abusing and bullying a little girl that has autism, and this happened at an elementary school. So imagine that. Before I continue, I wanted to give you the trigger warning and say thank you guys so much for following JulissaDesigns podcast using Spotify. If you haven't done so, please do so. Every time I make a new episode, you will get a notification, and it helps me as a creator too. So I need people to start following on Spotify. That's why I keep saying it all the time, every time I make a new episode. Also, thank you guys so much, everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing, and also sharing. I want to say, if you also follow, if you're listening right now to this using Apple Podcasts, you can also follow the podcast there, Julissa Designs Podcast. The same thing. Every time I bring a new episode, you will get a notification. Also, don't forget to leave me a comment. And if you want to know about Julissa Designs, the brand, you can also check out the new collection and the previous collection by just going into the main website, which is JulissaDesigns.com. Thank you guys so much for all the support. It really means a lot to me, you guys. But like I said, crazy times that we're living in. It's crazy to hear about a story like this, and I do feel for the child involved in this and the parents. Obviously, it's very sad. But it says here that four staffers at the John Skiff Elementary School in Texas have been fired for allegedly abusing a 6-year-old verbally challenged girl with autism. And it says here, Daniel Hall said the school allowed him to view surveillance footage, which he said shows a special education teacher and multiple teachers' aide manhandling his daughter, Trinity, in front of her classmates on April 14. So this is how crazy society is right now. And this is why I always emphasize to you, if you have a loved one in a nursing home, or if you have a loved one that you normally will drop off at daycare, right, or at a school like this happened here, always check for change behavior on your family member, on your loved one. Always check for change behavior. Always see their body language when you're dropping them off or when you're going to visit. And something also that I say is this: try not to be so routine with your schedule. It's always good to show up unannounced at a time that they're not expecting you. Okay, um, because you are the voice for your loved ones, so you want to do things like that, right, on purpose. You want to do things like that on purpose so that you see, and you sometimes you see something, you're like, I don't want to really um think negative of these people because the staff, they're always so nice to me, but if you have that gut feeling, right? And I'm laughing because it's almost like we always say, if you have that gut feeling, it's because you already know that you should be doing something about it, right? That what you saw is not normal, it's not right, and that's for you. That's why you have that feeling, so that you can pay attention, be like, this is something that I need to investigate. Okay. um People these days, as the economy is so bad, right, people are getting 1, 2, 3 jobs, right, just to kind of like survive and stay afloat. And when people are working so much like that, and they're just making, they're just getting jobs to get income, right, like I just said, to stay afloat. But also, they're not going to give 100% to all of the jobs that they do, right? And That's why you have to check, because one thing is for somebody to give you an attitude when you go get a coffee, right? You're like, okay, you put your comments in a review, you can reach out to a supervisor, things like that. But when it comes to handling another person, that you go to this place, right, the school, daycare, or even like a nursing home, and they smile at your face, and they say, "Oh, they're doing good. Everything's perfect." And then there's like a video showing, like it happened here, that they're actually doing the complete opposite, right? So this is why I always emphasize you always have to check for change behavior of your loved one, and always do like a body check too. If you know, always do a body check if you suspect anything. So let me continue to read you guys. So it says here, they visibly are seen. This is what the father said. They visibly seen my daughter's teacher pull her hair and pull her hair hard enough to where my daughter's beads came out of her head. Imagine that for a family, for a father to see that. You drop off your daughter at school, and they everybody there know that she has a condition, and then this is what she goes through when you're like at work trying to provide for your family, and this is what these people are doing. It's very hard to put yourself in, like, for anybody to go through something like that. It's very hard to even see that. The staffers also mocked his daughter and threw away her lunch as punishment. Right, so now you have adult bullies that get into these jobs, right, with unhealed childhood wounds, right? That's why they see nothing wrong by doing something like this, right? And you can see in people's behavior, right? Not only they're doing it on their own, but they are gathering other people to join in to basically abuse this child who is special needs, right? There's no adult, like light bulb going in somebody's head. Out of everybody in that group, everybody, and as an adult, right? Probably who went to training, all of that, saying, "Hey, we shouldn't be doing that. That's not right." They are joining in together, and then these adult bullies that get these jobs, right? The smile on your face and say everything is perfect, this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna throw away her lunch for as punishment, knowing that a person with that condition will do things, will say things you would think they're used to it by now, right? Like I told you guys in the beginning, I know this video is very triggering. Not a lot of people can handle, something like this, and discovering something like that happening to your loved one, and just be okay with it, right? Not okay with it, but not like taking things into your own hands, if you guys know what I mean. So it says here that also on camera, there's literally teachers encouraging other students to cause harm to my daughter. He said, the babies, they don't know any better. That's what the aunt said. It is bad enough already. They have a disability. They shouldn't have to go through something like this. So on April 29th, they had fire after this investigation, right? On April 29th, they confirmed that they had fired a teacher and 3 paraprofessionals on May 4 for inappropriate disciplinary actions. And I'm going to do another parenthesis here because it's so crazy that people don't they don't it's so crazy that all of these paraprofessionals, teachers, and like people that you would think will have some type of compassion, and like the human, I don't know, like what the human, like right and moral and education to say, wait, what we're doing right now is not right. Even if you see somebody else doing it, be like, hold on, I don't agree with this, I'm going to get a supervisor. But not only they're just going to ignore all of that, they're going to join in the whole abuse. That's crazy, right? And some people will never put themselves in somebody else's shoes, right? By saying, oh no, this is wrong, until it happens to them, right? until they are faced with a situation that's similar where they have to drop off their kids in school, and maybe a child has a disability, and they will never understand it, right? It's so crazy, but that's the world right now, right? Somebody said, I think they should go to jail because they shouldn't be a teacher, and I also agree with that. I think this behavior like that, to join other people, they should never be allowed to teach anymore. They should never be allowed to be inside a classroom anymore. Um, because one thing is to, out of the 5 people, or maybe 4 people involved in this, somebody say, "Oh, wait, I saw that person do this to that child," but then all of them are guilty. All of them had their hand in this. So they should never be allowed to teach him ever, right? They should never be allowed near kids. It says here that the father had filed a report with the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office, um, and said they're continuing the investigation. That was only what the father saw was only one day of footage. In that one day, they saw all of this abuse. Um, so he wants the police to review the 90, like as far as they can go. It's just 90 days. The father is like, I want you guys to review all the footage. So imagine that. Imagine you thinking that you're dropping off, your child, and they're gonna be great. They're gonna be very well taken care of. And then, I'm trying to figure out how he came to be that he thought, I'm gonna review the camera because obviously something's going off here. And then they're gonna see that there you are at work trying to provide for your family, and then that's what they're doing to your child at school. It's crazy, you guys. I'm sorry. I have dry throat right now. I do apologize. But I am glad that the father did something about it immediately. Obviously, that's his child's baby, and I'm glad that the teacher and the three or two paraprofessionals already got fired. Like I always say, you guys, a crazy world that we're living in. And if you have a hunch about something, it's for you to pay attention and investigate, right? So let me know, guys, what you think about this case. Thank you guys so much for coming to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.